Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today let's discuss my May TBR. So I know we're already in the month of May, but I still want to quickly discuss what is currently on my mind, what I'm currently looking to read this month. I am very excited about these choices. I think May is mostly going to be a mood reading month for me, what I am really looking forward to. April last month, as much as I really enjoyed my April reading, was mostly focused on magical readathon, so I felt that obligation on my shoulders. Now I just want to pick up what I want to pick up. So I think May will be a good reading month. As always, let's talk about series first. In 2026, one of my goals was to continue on, finish, be actively in the middle of a couple series. I did do a video about this at the beginning of the year. Every month my goal is to at least pick up 3 books in a series. It doesn't have to be the same series, but I would really like to finish with Assassin's Quest. This is the 3rd book in the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb. I am really excited to get to this finale and to finish with this first part of the Realm of the Elderlings. If you're unfamiliar with the story, we follow our character named Fitz, and he is the bastard son of a prince, and that puts him in a very odd position. A lot of stuff happens in the series, but he basically gets asked by the king to train to be an assassin, and that's kind of where his story starts. It's a lot, but I really enjoy Robin Hobb's writing. These are long books, but for some reason I am able to just like breeze through chapters. It's just, I love her writing so much. I'm really excited to get to this. Another series that I would like to finish and maybe decide whether or not I want to continue with this particular world is the Southern Reach trilogy. I need to finish the last book in this original trilogy, which is Acceptance. In the first book in the series, we follow a team of women that go into this weird biome with weird flora and fauna, and they investigate this area and weird stuff happens. It's very like bio plant sci-fi horror with a bit of like cosmic vibes. I don't know how else to describe this series, but just know that it's just very odd, and I really like the first book. Didn't really love the second book as much, and I'm hoping that this will end really well. I never want to have like a bad reading experience, but depending on how this series ends or how it originally ended, I will continue on with the 4th book. I want to say that the author is also coming out with a 5th book in this Area X world. I am ready to unhaul this if I don't like it, and I'll just keep a copy of Annihilation, the first book that I really enjoyed. And the 3rd series I would really like to get to this month is The Keeper of the Lost Cities, with the 3rd book being Everblaze. I've been really enjoying coming back to this middle grade series. It's really fun. It's very lighthearted. I've talked about it a few times already because this is one of the series that I've actively like really been into this year, trying to complete my goal. The series follows a character named Sophie, who is a very young, special girl. She feels like a bit of an outcast. She has skipped a couple of grades, and one day someone comes up to her and tells her that she's actually special, she's unique, and they whisk her off to a fantasy world. It's a very long series. It's like 9-10 books, something like that, and I think there's like half installments. I really enjoy this. Like I said, it's really fun, lighthearted, adventurous. It's a very expansive world. There's always like elements being added to the story, and if you're looking for something to fill that like wondrous void that you had reading fantasy when you were in like the middle grade years, maybe pick this up. I've been getting better at picking up nonfiction and classics. I did read a nonfiction and a classic last month, and I would really like to get to One Day Everyone Will Have Always Been Against This by Omar Akkad. This was a very popular read last year for obvious reasons. The author of this, I believe, was a journalist or is a journalist, and this mostly focuses on the way that the media has been reporting on what's been happening in Palestine and the genocide there, and his thoughts on this. I've heard that this is kind of a mix of like memoir and critique, and it's not just straight like informational like nonfiction, if that makes sense. A lot of people really enjoyed this. I'm sure I will. Enjoying is like a weird word to use in this case, but a lot of people really valued their time with this book, and hopefully I will as well. My classic of the month has been on many a TBR already this year, and I'm gonna get to it. I have to, and that is Emma by Jane Austen. I think spring is the perfect time to read Emma. It just seems like a spring book. Jane Austen in general just seems like a spring author, maybe with a few exceptions in her backlog, but I really want to get to this. I think I'll love it. I feel like I'm meant to be an Emma girl. I really enjoyed Pride and Prejudice. I think I'll really enjoy Emma. In this book we follow our main character Emma, who is I think she's committed to being a spinster, but she also really likes playing matchmaker, and I think that gets her into trouble. Maybe some things will happen, I'm sure, hijinks. I'm not sure, but I hope I really enjoy this. I don't see how I will dislike it. I did technically start reading it earlier this year. I only got like 20 pages into it, so I'm just gonna start over again. This next section I'm gonna call like the anticipated reads, hyped up reads section. We're gonna start off with This Kingdom Will Not Kill Me by Ilona Andrews. I've actually already started on this, so there's some progress there. I am really excited to read this because I love Ilona Andrews. One, this has also been getting a lot of good reviews, but I love Ilona Andrews. They are the writers behind the Kate Daniel series, which I read and adored last year. If you've been following me from last year, love that series so much. And this is their like high fantasy series that they've started. I am about 90 pages into it and I'm having such a good time. In the series, we're following a character named Maggie who is really obsessed with this unfinished grimdark fantasy series that she's reread over and over and over again. She knows everything about the series. She's been on the Reddit board. She reads the fan fiction. She's obsessed with this series. And then one day she wakes up in a gutter and very quickly realizes she's in her favorite fantasy world. She doesn't know how she got there, and pretty quickly she decides she doesn't want to go back home. She kind of wants to stay in this world and insert herself into the plot lines of this story, mostly to prevent like her favorite characters from like dying and stuff like that. But she knows that she can't meddle too much, so much that the storylines change and she doesn't have any more information. This story starts out with her at the beginning of her favorite fantasy series, so she's essentially in chapter 1 of the first book of the series that she loves. So she knows everything that's going to happen, and I'm really enjoying this. I think this is going to be a 5-star read. I don't want to jinx it, but I think it's going to be 5 stars. Another book that I've been hearing so many good things about, and it's from an author I've been wanting to read for quite some time, and that is Japanese Gothic by Kylie Lee Baker. This edition is so gorgeous. I don't know too much of what this is about, but I know that a lot of people really enjoy this author's work. I'm assuming that this is going to be a Gothic story with Japanese elements, focused on Japanese culture. That's all I really know. I don't want to know much more. I think it's better to go into a lot of horror with like not knowing too much. I did briefly look at the summary earlier, and there did seem to be 2 timelines, so that's also something that I actually really enjoy, is 2 timelines and how they kind of intersect. I know a lot of people, when they read 2 timelines, they have one favorite over the other. I don't really go into books that have multiple timelines with that mentality, if that makes sense. I do have some library books out right now. I may or may not get to them. They're not necessities, they're just from my library. I treat my library as a kind of like mood indicator. If I'm not sure what I'm in the mood for, I go to the library and see like what is calling out to me as a kind of like test. I did pick up Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. I've heard really good things about this one. I believe we find a woman that is trying to find this elusive fae for her book, and she goes on an adventure, and I think she has kind of like a annoyances to lovers storyline going on. I've read books with similar premises to this, and I've really enjoyed that kind of like older Victorian or like Regency era setting, and there's like an academic woman and she has like an annoyance to lover. I really enjoy books like that, so I think that's, I guess, what I'm in the mood for right now. And I did pick up Boneshaker by Cherry Priest. I don't know what this is about, and I want to keep it that way. I picked this up for the r/fantasy bingo board for the challenge where you pick up something by the title. I think it was called, I forgot what the challenge was called, but you pick something up by the title, and I think the hard mode is like you've never read the blurb, and I haven't. The reason why the title called out to me was because I had recently finished reading Gideon the Ninth, and that's a like necromancer heavy book, and I saw Boneshaker and I was like, I'm kind of still in the mood for like necromancers or anything like death related, so that was why the title called out to me. I'm not gonna lie, the cover also helped me choose this because it kind of looks steampunky, and I haven't read anything super steampunky in a while, so I'm not going to read the blurb. If I do read it, then I will complete that one bingo square for the bingo board. If not, that's cool. There are other books that I can choose from the library to like fulfill this challenge, but that was my intention with picking this one up. So that's pretty much everything that I have like my eyes on at the moment. I could always pick up more books. I am still a mood reader after all, so I might just pick something random off my shelves one day, but this is for sure what I'm eyeing for this month. Like I said, I think May is going to be mostly like what I really want to read, and there's not going to be like a challenge I'm like super gunning for. I mean, in general, I am working towards the r/fantasy bingo board. I might do a video on that later, and my reading has been pretty good this year compared to last year. Last year I was only reading like 2 or 3 books a month, and in April, I haven't done my April wrap up, but I read like 10 things in April. very excited about that. That is my TBR for May. Let me know what you're reading in the month of May. Let me know you've read any of these. If you are interested in reading any of these, feel free to talk to me about anything down below in the comments. I will also link my social medias down below, as well as some far more important links. Feel free to like, dislike, comment, or subscribe, or do neither. It's all cool with me. If you don't know what to say, just leave an emoji. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.